I'm gonna tell you, looking at that $2 after a delivery, and then seeing like no tip on top of it, it was crazy work, bro. Picking up that joint and then looking and see $2 for the delivery or $3 for the delivery, bro. That actually did get me. Hey yo, what's up? We got another video today. We're gonna be watching DoorDash, Grubhub, and Uber Eats are a scam. Now, I used to deliver for DoorDash and Uber Eats, so this is gonna be an interesting video to watch from this perspective, because I definitely have some particular gripes about this service. But with that being said, go ahead and like. It's by Business Boss. Go ahead and like, and if you like it, you don't have to. Nobody's forcing you, but if you want to show some support, let's get into it.
Food delivery startups have exploded over the past few years. DoorDash went from 4 million users in 2018 to over 37 million in 2023, with revenue jumping from 110 million to $8.63 billion. But behind these impressive numbers lies a harsh reality.
Pandemic.
This booming industry is creating more problems than it solves. Customers are overpaying, restaurants are losing profits, and drivers are struggling, while delivery apps are bleeding money. Hey everyone, it's Business
drivers
Boss,
are struggling part
and
is real,
today
man.
we're going to find out why food delivery
Each
apps
delivery,
are a losing game for everyone involved. Let's start
I'll
with
probably
the
explain
customers.
more once he gets
Food
into that
delivery
section.
apps have been growing their customer bases by the millions each and every year, so surely they're offering value, right? Well, not exactly. While food delivery apps offer us unparalleled convenience,
They kind of do.
they do come at
sometimes.
some pretty big costs. So let's have a look. The first problem is the additional cost of orders. When we order through food delivery apps, we often face a multitude of charges. There's delivery fees, service fees, and of course, the tip. These can make a meal considerably more expensive than pickup or dine-in options. One study found that these charges usually add up to 15 to 30% for most food delivery apps. So a $20 pizza, well, that may end up costing you $30 with delivery apps. And while you may feel an additional $10 spent on a meal isn't that big of a deal,
not bad if you can
these
afford
numbers
it.
do keep adding up. For someone who
But if you
orders on
can't.
delivery apps once a week, maybe it's not much. But for those who order every day, it can quickly become a big amount.
Ordering
The
every day is
average
crazy.
American spends approximately $37. And 28 cents weekly on food delivery, translating to about $150 monthly or $1,800 annually. And when you
That's
look
still
at it
not
that
bad.
way,
None of that
that's a
stuff
lot
is
of money.
bad.
If a Gen Zer were to put that kind of money in a diversified
But it's about the
portfolio
income.
instead of ordering food, he would have $1 million in his account in 40 years. Now, there's also the issue of food quality. The delivery
In 40.
process often involves delays and handling that can compromise the condition of your meal. I mean, who hasn't experienced soggy or lukewarm food that's less than satisfying? You end up
40 years for a meal is crazy, though.
wishing that you had just got up and gone to the restaurant instead. Next, we'll examine the impact on restaurants. While delivery apps do increase visibility and bring in additional revenue, they also have some significant drawbacks. One of the most pressing issues is the high commission fees, typically ranging from 15% to 30%
Where's
per
this
order.
other stuff going?
That's a
though?
huge dent in most establishments' already wafer-thin profit margins. And with this kind of heavy payout, restaurants end up in thin operating margins of just 5% to 10%. Most smaller establishments can barely make ends meet with that kind of money, and many, well, they just eventually give up. Food delivery apps also create a disconnect between restaurants and their customers. Once upon a time, restaurants used to have loyal customers who wouldn't go anywhere else. Chefs used to have a bond with the customers,
they're still
cooking
loyal.
their favorite meals with an extra
Just
splash
through
of
DoorDash.
love. And today, orders placed through an app are faceless, and the primary relationship is with the platform and not the restaurant. Customers no longer connect with the
That's kinda
restaurant's
valid.
brand, and that makes it harder for them to create a loyal
I
customer
wouldn't say
base.
no longer. I just say
Maintaining
less.
food quality during delivery is another challenge. Once food leaves the restaurant, it becomes subject to the delivery process,
Yeah, you kind of have
which
to.
can be unpredictable. If the food
Yeah.
arrives cold or soggy, or even worse, half eaten, customers end up blaming the restaurant,
Have
though it
eaten.
had no
I've
control
never,
over those
when I
circumstances.
was doing it,
Bad reviews online or on
I've never eaten anybody's food that actually wanted their order. Now, canceled orders are a different thing. If people like, they're like, hey, don't bring it. Cancel the order, don't bring it. At that point, it's already in my car. What we doing? But never just eat somebody's food. That's crazy. All right. That's how you know people really out here struggling, bro.
the delivery app can cost the restaurant
Yeah, let me
repeat
get a fry.
business and harm its reputation and revenue in the long run.
Crazy.
As these platforms grow in popularity, restaurants feel pressured to join them to remain competitive. This leaves the establishment at the whims of the app's policies, the fee structures, or the algorithms. A minor tweak in fee structure may end up costing a major portion of the restaurant's profits, but policies are usually applied without regard for local concerns, and there's little to no recourse. Restaurants also struggle to stand out among the myriad of options on the app, and end up having to spend on creating beautiful food pics and videos to attract their customers. Oh, and what about delivery drivers? I mean, are they happy? Well, the national
The slaves
average
of the
Dasher
industry.
earnings are about $25 an hour, which comes to around $4,300 a month.
Where they doing those numbers at? Where they doing those numbers at? I'm not gonna lie. Nah, but when you look at it from a cost perspective too, you gotta think about the gas prices, car maintenance, and all that, bro.
That may seem like good money, but there are other challenges that make the gig a lot less lucrative than it initially
Cancellations.
sounds. The actual earnings for Dashers will vary wildly from the
Yeah.
$25 estimate.
All the way
Earnings
down to
depend
10,
on
bro.
base pay, promotions, and tips.
The base pay
And
is
base pay
insane.
ranges from $2 to $10 per delivery, depending on the estimated time, the distance, the desirability of the delivery, and more. Promotions are additional.
I'm gonna tell you, looking at that $2 after a delivery, and then seeing like no tip on top of it, it was crazy work, bro. Picking up that joint and then looking and see $2 for the delivery or $3 for the delivery, bro. That actually did get me. After a while, it got me. I was like, man. I used to be on there asking people. I would be like sending a message. I'd be like, hey, yo, I'm on the way with your food. I'd appreciate it if you could leave me a tip. Da da da. Because I started certain. It's like depending on the area, right? Because when I moved like to a different area, I would start noticing that people were tipping less, and I'm like, it wasn't as good as in the other areas, so I gotta like shift it over. I'm like, okay, we gotta make something shake because I'm seeing people, they're acting a little scary, they're acting a little stingy. So I was like, okay. And I get it with the prices and everything, but at the end of the day, it is still like, food delivery. It wasn't like I was like being reckless with people's like deliveries, just like throwing their food around and stuff. Nah, I would preserve it relatively like intentionally. So give them updates and stuff, good service.
Pay for offers that meet certain conditions and can vary based on factors like location and the time of day.
Especially the shopping
Tips,
ones.
well, they depend on the customer's generosity. So the same Dasher might end up making $10 on a bad day and $45 on a good one. Delivery drivers are designated as independent contractors and not employees, which means that they pay the full cost
taxes.
of expenses like gasoline, vehicle maintenance, and self-employment taxes. So, while they may earn $15 to $25 per hour, their actual take-home pay is much lower. Delivery drivers also lack job security and benefits. They don't get health insurance and 401ks, and keep in mind that delivery driving is one of the more
Well, actually, they did offer health insurance through DoorDash. It was like Dasher insurance or something like that, if I remember correctly. It was through a third party, but they had like special discounts for Dashers and stuff. From what I remember.
dangerous occupations due to constant driving around.
I didn't use it because
Additionally,
I had
there's
better
no
stuff.
paid
But
time off or sick leave, so drivers end up working even when they're sick or have any kind of other personal issues. All right, so
that's the point.
is this yet
That's the thing.
another
Like, you
case
don't
of
have to
corporate
if you're
fat
making
cats
enough.
laughing
Like,
their way to the bank while everyone else suffers? Well, surprisingly, even the
user
delivery apps don't make
decision.
money. Impressive growth rates aside,
'Cause I'll tell you, there were a lot of days where if I was like, yeah, it's not the vibe to go, then I just don't go. Which was a good part of it, but it also came with the trade-offs of like people just not paying you.
food delivery companies are struggling. DoorDash reported a net loss of over $500 million in 2023, and Uber Eats isn't far behind. Consistent losses over the years show that the business model itself is not sustainable. In
Heck no.
2023, DoorDash spent over $1.8 billion on sales and marketing alone, highlighting the enormous costs associated with maintaining.
I'm not gonna lie. It makes sense. Wait, hold on. Hold on. Revenue, 8 billion, right? Alright, you got 8 billion in revenue, right? Marketing costs only an eighth. That's honestly not bad. Well, if I'm looking at it, like an eighth of the revenue is going to marketing, and you're still making that much. That's honestly not bad. But we're looking at cost of sales too. Why is the cost of sales so high? Is that for like paying the Is that for like paying the dashers and paying the restaurants themselves? Who else? That's like the main two people, I'm pretty sure, or maybe like the app platform, but they run their own. So I don't know. R&D, others. What are these R&D and others? Because honestly, like if y'all are losing, you can make up. Nah, you're losing 579, right? Just cut off R&D for a while until you're in the green. You don't have to do everything at once. You can work in phases.
Growing its customer base. Most delivery apps spend heavily on marketing campaigns and offer discounts, free deliveries, and other incentives to drive user engagement. It's all a game of boosting numbers without caring about the bottom line.
But it's still not
Pizza
profitable.
delivery was successful because it operated within a small radius and used dedicated delivery drivers. But food delivery apps have to coordinate across many
That's what I used
restaurants
to
in a
do.
broad area.
Me and a couple of my friends. That was like one of my first like jobs. I would say. I was at Riverside Pizza, but we'd be clowning. We didn't make no money though. It was like $7.25 an hour, but it was just fun because we were working together. There was some clown stuff that happened. I'll have to tell some stories about it later, but it was fun.
Drivers end up picking up deliveries based
Only fun because we were all there together. On its own, would have been garbage.
on profitability rather than efficiency, making the logistics a nightmare. As competition intensifies, companies are forced into a death spiral of high spending to capture market share. The push for valuations and growth over profitability hurts these businesses in the long run, which is why food delivery companies are not viable in the long term.
Yeah, it's
How
not.
would you go about fixing the
But at
food
least people
delivery
are gonna
business?
hopefully.
Let us know in the comments below.
Honestly,
And if you find this video insightful, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more content like
that was
this.
a W video. Honestly, I would say like, if it's already not gonna be profitable, right? At least pay the dashers. Like if you're doing all this just to lose money, at least pay the people that are investing in it and like dashing for you. Because like without them, there is no business. So at least pay them. Like if you are gonna be losing money, like hemorrhaging money, and it's just going into debt, right? Which will be like written off at some point or bailed out by something, probably anyways, right? So you might as well make sure the people that are working for you get paid. That's just my opinion, though. Let me know what y'all thought down in the comments. You know, go ahead and like if you want to, if you liked it, and subscribe if you haven't already. And I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.